Perfect. So if it's okay with you, I'll just get started right away.
Sure.
Perfect. I guess I just first wanted to ask, how did you first hear about Theater Without Borders, and how did your relationship with the organization really begin or take off?
I heard about Theater Without Borders from my friend Roberta Levito and another friend, Daniel Banks, who were both part of the original founders, along with a couple of other people. And Roberta told me that she and Daniel wanted to create an event around a weekend of workshops and speeches, all related to um, actors. No, what's it called? Uh, Acting together on the world stage, which was like a conference, I guess you'd call it. And that conference they wanted to do at La Mama Theater in New York City. And they knew that I was very involved with La Mama because I run their international programs in Italy. And they wanted to see if it would be possible to do it in New York. So I talked to the folks at La Mama, and they were happy to host it. So I got to work with Roberta and Daniel and Kat Fiu and a couple of other people in putting it together. So I got to know them and I got to know the process and understand what Theater Without Borders was all about.
Perfect. What importance or personal importance did you or do you put on the work and of international theater community that Theater Without Borders kind of takes on?
Well, for me, the work of international theater community is essential and really important. That's why this program that I run in Italy for La Mama is an international theater symposium and playwright retreat. So it works with theater makers and directors and other people from all over the world who come together to study, learn from each other, meet each other, collaborate with each other. And so that aspect has always been really important to me. And with Theater Without Borders, I was able to learn a lot of the work that they do, but also the people that they know. Because when we did that big conference, they invited artists from all around the world, and they were all coming to New York to La Mama to be part of this thing. And I got to meet them, and some of them became friends, and I ended up traveling to their countries and developing collaborations with them. So that was profoundly important for me.
So I suppose more about the La Mama conference in 2011. How did it look like? What did it lead up to it? The preparations look like? What were some challenges and successes? And then how was the actual conference? And how did you say any memorable moments or yeah?
Wow, there were a lot of memorable moments, but I think working on it with these people was great because they're smart and they understand how to organize things. And I've been organizing as well, but never on this kind of a scale in like a short time. I think it was 3 days or something like that. And all these different things had to happen. And we had conversations about, what's important to include and who do we want to have and what should the conversations be about? How did they focus? So, leading up to it was great. I mean, the biggest challenge was fundraising because, well, first of all, Theater Without Borders is not a nonprofit organization, so they can't raise money. So all the money that was raised came through La Mama, and then La Mama partnered with Theater Without Borders. So I think leading up to it was just fun to hang out with these people, learn what they knew, meet the people that they knew. The conference itself was life changing for me because of meeting all these people and also understanding there are ways to make theater that I wasn't aware of. I didn't really understand the whole idea of theater of the oppressed and different community-based practices that I started to learn about. And once I started to learn about them, I started to do them. And so um, it sort of shifted my idea about theater and my own career trajectory. I was much more focused on international work after that.
Are there after that with your have you had any other significant collaborations with Theater Without Borders? And if so, are there any ones that are specifically memorable or significant?
Yeah, we've had many since then. There was another big conference, which I can't remember the name of. We collaborated with Brandeis University in that first one, and then I did some other things with them. Um, I I mean, there was just many times I started to become part of the sort of organizing group of Theater Without Borders. So we just did a lot of things together, some of them with La Mama and some of them just on my own. And, it was it's always fascinating. I mean, the great thing about Theater Without Borders is that it helps you meet other people in other places that you would not get to meet normally because they're all relationship based artists. And so if somebody says, "Oh, my friend is coming to Madrid and would like to meet some artists," and there's inevitably somebody in Theater Without Borders who is either from there or knows people there and they can connect you. And that kind of connection is the most memorable thing. When I was in that big conference meeting the people that were doing theater of the oppressed, and people were doing playback theater, and people were doing these different modes of community engaged practices, I just wanted to go out and learn all about them.
Would you say that all those connections and work you've made have gone on to have a significant impact on your personal theater work?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the people that I met were people that I ended up inviting to the program that I do in Italy and them teaching their workshops there, because that program is really all about engaged practice, doing workshops to help people learn other ways of making work, making theater. So, yeah, it had a big impact, and some of those people are lifelong friends.
And I guess going back to the organization itself, how do the core values of Theatre Without Borders, right, the grassroots part, the nonpartisanship, the volunteer-based, not being a nonprofit, just right, cutting out money as a whole, fit with your personal artistic values?
Yeah, that's right. Very much aligned with them. I mean, except that well, not accept that. I'd say, and I also believe that artists who get involved in projects and, I believe in volunteerism, but I also believe in artists getting paid. I think artists don't get paid. A lot of times they'll do a lot of things volunteer, and you know they they are willing to do it because they feel the value of it, but they're not getting compensated. So my big point of view or harangue these days is pay the artists, pay the artists.
Of course. Those are really all the questions I had. Is there anything before we go, anything else you'd like to say or bring up or touch upon?
I think the people who run Theater Without Borders or ran it, it's kind of a different situation now. I guess it's mostly an online presence on Facebook. It doesn't really have any projects that are for everybody. I think people do their own projects, and they could put Theater Without Borders name on them. I love the fact that it's artist to artist, and you don't have to deal with any governments or any agencies. You just meet the people. So that's a value that I really appreciate. And I think that this sort of non-hierarchical way of thinking about an arts organization is really valuable. They're open to all different kinds of opinions. If you say you're Theater Without Borders, you're Theater Without Borders. And they don't, the only thing they don't want you to do is, put Theater Without Borders in the middle of something that is like a for-profit or something that doesn't align with their values. So you might, check in to make sure this was okay. But at the end of the day, if I wanted to do a collaboration with some other organization, which I have done several, and because of people like Roberta Levitow, I was able to go to Ethiopia with the Sundance Institute and met a lot of African artists and ended up inviting them to Italy to the program that I run there. And then I happened to mention to one guy, oh, there's this fellowship program through Georgetown University for international artists. He ended up applying for it and getting the fellowship. And then the fellows all came to La Mama Umbria in Italy. And so I was with him again. And then a couple of years later, I invited him to teach there. So this is how, relationships develop over time. And I think that's the real value of it.
Hey. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to speak with you.
What's the next step for this project for you?
I'm gonna, well, right now I'm transcribing the interviews. I'm still in the process of interviewing a lot of people. And then I'm also in the process of, with someone else, with Lucian, um, writing, I don't know if it's brief, I don't know if brief is the right word, but not too long, a mid-length, just history of the organizations, detailing the different aspects, different, I don't know, it just, yeah, really a history of the organization and including within the history a lot of quotes and snippets from interviews that we're doing.
And what will the final product be? What will you do with it? Is it something to be published?
I believe so, yes. It'll be, I think, well, it's up to Kat and Roberta, I think, what we do with the interviews themselves and whether we put them up at some point. And then also with the final like piece of writing, it's probably going to go somewhere at some point on the website. I don't know if it'll go as the new About Us section or below that as a kind of PDF linked history of the organization. I'm not too sure, but yes, it's the these intentions there to be published and put up at the website.
How about places like American Theater Magazine or some places like that? Have you thought about having it published there?
I actually don't think we've talked about that.
I think it would be a great idea because they have a lot of readers and a lot of it's online. So you can, just propose it to the editor and see what he says.
Of course. I will do, yeah, I'll bring that up next time I meet with Ken Rorta.
Okay, terrific. Well, good luck with the project. Sounds great.
Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of the day.
You too. Take
Thank
care.
you.